In this video, I'm going to be ranking every Pokemon season from worst to best. Since it's the anime's 27th anniversary, now is the perfect time to reveal where I think each of these seasons stand compared to one another, including Pokémon Horizons. But before we begin, a quick shout out to this video sponsor, Opera GX. Are you a Pokemon master that's struggling with a browser that gobbles up your resources like a Snorlax? Well, Opera GX is here to change the game with its GX control feature. Say goodbye to lags while you're browsing with multiple tabs open during your Pokemon adventures. Relive the nostalgia of your first Game Boy experience with GX mods. Customize your browser with a click, whether it's turning it into a virtual arcade or enjoying quirky typing sounds. The possibilities are endless. GX also offers integration with generative AI, featuring quick access to tools like AI prompts and sidebar access to ChatGPT and ChatSonic. And for you old school gamers out there who miss flipping through gaming magazines, meet GX Corner. This digital hub keeps you updated with free games, top deals, latest releases, and breaking news. Transferring to Opera GX is a breeze too. Quickly import your settings from any previous browser, including browser history, bookmarks, and cookies. Plus, it's compatible with all Google Chrome extensions. Welcome to a new era of browsing with Opera GX. Download for free using the link in my description. Kicking things off in dead last, we have the worst season. Season 16, Adventures in Unova and Beyond. The Unova League, and in the Team Plasma arc, and Charizard returning? On paper, this sounds like it would be the best season. Unfortunately, the execution was downright terrible. Not only was the Unova League one of the worst leagues in the entire anime, but there's also the fact that the Team Plasma arc didn't live up to the hype because of how last minute it all felt. Top that off with a completely boring island arc, and you've got yourself the most disappointing season. Season 4, Johto League Champions. Now technically, this is the actual worst season, as it's the one with the most amount of... However, I think an inconsequential boring season is far less offensive than one that straight up ruins an ending of an entire series. That being said though, Johto League Champions is still pretty bad. Now sure, there are some enjoyable fillers, but this season also has some of the most boring and annoying fillers in the entire anime. Aside from the handful of important episodes, the rest of the season doesn't really have much else to offer, and it is a chore to get through. Season 7, Advanced Challenge. Now this is where May becomes consistent with Pokemon Contest, so we finally have a nice balance of events between Ash's gym battles. However, this season also has some of the worst Hoenn episodes, like Misty releasing Togetic, Double Max, and whatever the heck Team Aqua and Magma were doing half the time. There are definitely some great moments here as well, but you can tell that they were still trying to find their footing when it comes to non-Ash and May episodes. Season 3, The Johto Journeys. Because it's the season to introduce a new region, we have a bit more happening here. We got Ash catching the Johto starters, Charizard's burning ambition, the first 2 gym battles, not bad at all. But what holds it back from moving up even higher is its pacing. It slows down quite a bit compared to the seasons before it because of the long stretches of formulaic fillers that would continue to plague the rest of the Johto saga. Season 2, Adventures in the Orange Islands. I will give it some credit for giving us moments like Charizard obeying Ash, Ash catching Snorlax, and Ash winning the Orange League, but other than that, the Orange Islands was pretty forgettable. They got rid of Brock for Tracy, and most of it just felt like filler until we got Johto, which is ironic considering Johto was mostly filler. But technically, this season includes Kanto bangers like the Ultimate Test, the Breeding Center Secret, Volcanic Panic, the P-Kahuna, Go West Young Meowth, and even the League, which helped elevate it much higher. Season 6, Pokemon Advanced. This is the first season where Ash started all over with just Pikachu, and it was really refreshing. It was great to see how he's improved as a trainer, and this was also the first season to truly focus on someone, you know, other than Ash. Here we get May, who discovers her own path to become a top coordinator. This really set itself apart from the original series, and made things a lot more interesting. Except for Max. We don't really talk about him. Season 24, Pokemon Master Journeys. Like Chloe's Eevee, Pokemon Journeys had limitless possibilities, but in the end was a disappointment. And what do you know, this is the season to introduce Chloe's Evolution Quest. Now although there were a lot of fun moments in this season, like the return of old characters and Pokemon, as well as a handful of exciting PWC battles, this is the worst Journey season because it's the one with the most pointless fillers or just downright underwhelming episodes. And when it came to the first half of the season especially, my god was the pacing awful. Season 5, Master Quest. This is the season where Johto finally found its footing. It still suffers some of the same problems of its previous seasons, but it had a lot more to offer to make up for that. Not only did we get the Lugia arc, but we also get 3 solid gym battles, and then the amazing Johto League. This season has some of the best battles in the entire original series, and it does a great job at not only concluding this series, but also setting up the next one. Season 12, Galactic Battles. This season provided the final build-up to the amazing Team Galactic arc. It was epic. Not just that, but we also got great battles from Byron and Candace, the Twinley Festival, and even the battle at Lake Acuity. What makes this the worst DP season though is the fact that this is where Dawn gets her second losing streak, which is a big character regression, as well as this being the beginning of the infamous year-long gap before Ash's final gym badge. Season 15, Rival Destinies. Now yeah, it had a pretty terrible start with arguably one of the worst gym battles, but after that, the season picks up real fast. It's chock full of great gym battles with no real gaps in between them. And like the name implies, there's a greater focus on the rivals, thanks to the tournament arcs like the Clubsplosion and World Tournament Junior Cup. We also get the return of Cynthia, the return of Dawn, and even a proper Team Rocket arc where Giovanni takes action. Now this was awesome. Season 23, Pokémon Journeys. Say what you will, but the first season of Journeys is really fun. Ash makes lots of long-awaited captures here, we see how they handle a Pokemon Go-like character with Go, and of course, revisiting older regions after a very long time was an absolute treat. Its episodic nature was a double-edged sword, however, that allowed the season to keep things moving, which provided interesting events to happen one after another, but also didn't allow things like the Darkest Day arc to be fleshed out as it probably should have been. Season 1, Indigo League. Now the Indigo League isn't perfect, but you can't deny the impact it's had on the entire Pokemon franchise. It's the one that started it all, and it has a ton of iconic moments that help shape the rest of the anime. The first 32 episodes specifically are really well paced, and I love how interconnected they feel, with almost every episode flowing extremely well into the next. It's also the season with the best collection of filler episodes that are both enjoyable and memorable. Season 8, Advanced Battle. This is the climax of Ash's Hoenn journey, and they started it off with the terrible Team Aqua and Magma arc. Well, at least it's only up from here. Although the Hoenn League isn't as memorable as most, it's still a big step up from Advanced Challenge. We also got to see May compete in her first Grand Festival, which made for a solid conclusion to Hoenn, as well as a good start for the Battle Frontier saga. Season 20, Sun and Moon. Now Sun and Moon had a pretty shaky start, as moving Ash to a school setting made the series feel more slower and episodic. Luckily, this season had great moments with Lily, the Litten storyline, and even Ash vs. Hala. Once we reach episode 20, however, this season really finds its stride and eventually introduces Gladion, the Akala Island arc, and even ends off with the epic return of Brock and Misty. Season 17, XY. After the disappointment of Adventures in Unova, XY starts off with a bang by giving us a really solid introduction to the Kalos region. It does a great job at re-establishing Ash as a competent trainer, shows off its high-quality battle animations, and gives us a great new group dynamic off the bat. Aside from Serena taking a little long to find her goal, and the occasional bad filler here and there, this is honestly the right way to start off a new season. Season 14, Black and White. Alright, let me cook. Minus the fact that they made Ash a rookie again, the first season of Black and White honestly wasn't as bad as we all remembered it to be. It's one of the most refreshing seasons that perfectly captures the feeling of playing a new Pokemon game. It's basically a modernized version of Indigo League. And what gives it the slight edge over XY's first season is its amazing pacing. Ash takes on the first 3 gyms by episode 23. Top that off with lots of capture and rival focused episodes, and you've got yourself a season that's always moving and has little room for filler. Now unfortunately, things do slow down a bit after Ash's battle with Berg, but then it bounces right back and finishes strong with the Club Battle Tournament arc, followed by the Nimbasa Subway arc. Now that is an awesome first season. Season 25, Pokemon Ultimate Journeys. The final season of Journeys does not play around by giving us the exact kind of episodes we've been hoping for. Off rip, we get things like Gengar development, the return of Cassidy and Butch, Ash vs. Marnie, return of Clement and Bonnie, Ash vs. Drasna, return of Serena, return of Greninja, return of Paul and all of Ash's Pokemon, the Aether family reunion, and then of course the Masters 8 tournament. Now although the beginning was pretty rough, it more than makes up for it with Ash vs. Cynthia, and especially with Ash vs. Leon. Aside from the recaps which don't really count, the pacing of this season is phenomenal. It could have honestly made top 5 if it ended right after the Masters tournament, but unfortunately we got Project Mew, a terrible ending to Ghost Progress, followed by Aim to be Mid, which completely ruined this season's momentum with the lackluster ending to Ash's journey. If it was any other season, it wouldn't be that bad, but because it carries the weight of being Ash's final journey, this season ended up taking a tremendous hit in the final stretch. Season 18, Kalos Quest. So this is basically Advanced Challenge, but way better. Serena gets a lot more focus and actual progression here, which is balanced well with Ash's gym battles. And speaking of which, we go through half of the Kalos gyms here, with real standouts like Ash vs Clement and Ash vs Olympia, which were both awesome and visually stunning. The season also starts to plant the seeds for XYZ, with the inclusion of 3 Mega Evolution specials, introducing Sawyer, and teasing the legendary Zactoshi Gekkoga. So this season was really setting up for greater things to come. Season 21, Sun and Moon Ultra Adventures. This season is where the Sun and Moon anime really started to improve. Now that the slapstick is toned down a bit, we can actually focus on some solid story arcs like the Nebi arc, that introduced the Aether family in Ultra Space, the Ula Ula Island arc, where Ash received training from Tabu Bulu and swept Nanu, as well as the overarching plot with the Ultra Beast and Ultra Guardians, which all led up to the Necrozma arc as the series finale. Sorta. Season 26, Pokémon Horizons. As the first major series to not feature Ash, I am pleased to say that this season definitely brought its A-game. From the jump, this series set itself apart from all the others thanks to its narrative-driven storytelling, focusing more on an overarching plot instead of being episodic like its predecessors. If we were just counting the first arc, this season could have easily been the best of them all. Unfortunately, its second arc brings the series pacing to a screeching halt by contrasting the first one and behaving more like a traditional Pokemon series. Now the plot finally does come back around by the end, but that doesn't really make up for the rest of the arc. Overall though, it's still a great season, literally one of the best. It's just that the 2 arcs aren't really consistent. The first half is near perfect, while the second half is average. Season 11, Battle Dimension. As we approach the halfway point of the Sinnoh journey, we continue to get lots of great things from this season. We see Dawn go through and overcome her contest slump, May returns and gives us a great contest battle against Dawn, Ash and Dawn trading, the introduction of Barry, the counter shield, more tension between Ash and Paul. This season just kept building on what the first season of Diamond and Pearl started. And speaking of which, Season 10, Diamond and Pearl. The first season of Diamond and Pearl is just a better version of Pokemon Advance. Here we meet Dawn, who has the same goals as May, but now with more background and motivation thanks to her mom. We also get the introduction of Paul, which gave Ash a great new rival to surpass right from the jump. Top that off with great early gym battles and contests, a cast of new Pokemon with great personalities, and ending it off with the Heart Home Tag Battle arc, and you've got yourself the best and most consistent first season. Season 9, Battle Frontier. Because Ash and the gang go through most of Kanto in this one season, you'll notice that it's paced far faster than the Hoenn Adventures. Seeing Ash take on the Battle Frontier was great, as he's also bringing back old Pokemon to help. This all led to the climactic finale where Ash had to use his original Kanto team to get the final win. Not just that, but the contests this season are a huge upgrade from Hoenn. May is more experienced now, which made her battles a lot more better. This all led to the epic finale where Ash and May both faced off in an awesome contest battle. And let's not forget that this season also planted the seeds for one of the greatest Pokemon seasons to follow. Season 19, XYZ. Now this season was a wild ride. In it we have Zygarde joining the gang, Team Flare finally taking action, Ash meeting Alon, and the mystery and mastery of Zactoshi Gekkoga. This season was jam-packed with awesome action and story. The Kalos League was pretty epic, even though it was rushed, and then we get the true climax with the Team Flare arc, literally the best arc in the entire anime. But what holds this season back is that it's very Ash focused. Sure, Serena does her masterclass, but I was never fully invested in her goal because of how rushed it ends off. Also, Clement doesn't really do anything till the Team Flare arc. Bonnie's good though, cause, you know, squishy. Also, the season starts with like some of the worst XY fillers and ends with some of the most questionable resolutions. Although this season has some of the highest highs in the entire Pokemon anime, I will never be satisfied with Serena becoming a coordinator and Ash releasing Greninja, so it'll just have to sit at number 3. Season 13, Sinnoh League Victors. This is such a great season because it does a fantastic job at not only concluding Ash's Sinnoh journey, but Dawn's as well. Since this is the shortest season, there's not much time wasted, and it's mostly dedicated to preparing Ash and Dawn for the Sinnoh League and Grand Festival. In Dawn's case, she was able to reach the Grand Festival finals and gave us the best contest battle period. I have never cared about a female companion's goal so much. As for Ash, we all know how good the Sinnoh League was, especially with that intense finale of Ash vs Paul, so not much has to be said there. Besides freaking Tobias, who ruined this season's shot at the top spot, everything else just came together and ended so perfectly. And finally, the best season is Season 22, Sun and Moon Ultra Legends. It's almost mind-blowing how amazing this season is. The reason it's great is because so much happens here. We have the Pony Island arc, the Guzzlord arc, introduction of your boy Guzma, Ash catching Meltan, and that's only like the first half. Not just that, but we also get solid and amazing episodes dedicated to developing Ash's classmates. All of them. Almost every episode was important, because it was all building up to the 17 episode long Alola League arc, where Ash finally wins and becomes champion. My goodness, what a monumental moment that was. And just when you think that's it, they gave us one of the best battles ever with Ash vs Kukui. This season was insane, and gave Sun and Moon such a satisfying conclusion that perfectly encapsulates what this entire series is all about. And that's why I believe Sun and Moon Ultra Legends is the best season of the Pokemon anime. Just don't watch the English dub version.